Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine waking up tomorrow with an unshakable sense of peace. Nothing can disturb you. Your boss's criticism rolls off you like water. The news doesn't trigger anxiety. Traffic doesn't raise your blood pressure. Arguments don't steal your serenity. You move through your day with the calm confidence of someone who has discovered an ancient secret, because that's exactly what you're about to discover. 2,000 years ago, a group of philosophers cracked the code to inner peace, and their teachings have survived empires falling, plagues ravaging, and wars destroying everything in their path. Today, on the Stoic Mindset channel, I'm going to share with you the exact system they used to achieve what modern society spends billions trying to find: genuine, lasting peace of mind. But before we dive into this life-altering philosophy, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Why? Because what you're about to learn isn't just another self-help trend that will disappear in 6 months. This is wisdom that has literally stood the test of millennia. And after watching this video, you'll understand why everyone from Roman emperors to modern CEOs, from ancient slaves to contemporary athletes, have turned to Stoicism when they needed real answers to life's hardest questions. The Stoic Mindset channel is your gateway to this ancient wisdom, adapted for modern challenges. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. The modern crisis of peace. We live in the most advanced civilization in human history, yet we're facing a pandemic of anxiety that would have baffled our ancestors. We have smartphones more powerful than the computers that sent humans to the moon, yet we can't figure out how to be happy. We have access to more information than all previous generations combined, yet we feel more confused and overwhelmed than ever. We've conquered diseases, extended lifespans, created unprecedented wealth, yet depression rates are skyrocketing, anxiety medications are being prescribed at record levels, and people are literally dying from stress-related illnesses. What the hell is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. We've been sold a massive lie, and we've bought it so completely that we can't even see it anymore. The lie is this: peace comes from controlling your environment. Get enough money and you'll be secure. Find the perfect partner and you'll be loved. Achieve enough success and you'll be respected. Eliminate all problems and you'll be happy. This lie is so seductive because it seems logical. It appeals to our basic survival instincts. But there's one massive problem with it. It doesn't work. It has never worked. It will never work. Think about the richest people you know of. Are they peaceful? The most successful? Are they content? The most beautiful? Are they serene? Of course not. In fact, often the opposite is true. The more external success people achieve, the more anxious they become about losing it. The more they control, the more they realize how much remains outside their control. The more they have, the more they have to worry about. This isn't coincidence. This is the fundamental nature of seeking peace through external means. Now let me tell you about a man named Marcus Aurelius. He had absolute power over the known world. He could have anything he wanted with a snap of his fingers. He could execute anyone who annoyed him, could take any woman he desired, could live in unimaginable luxury. Yet his private journal, which we now know as Meditations, reveals a man struggling with the same anxieties, frustrations, and challenges we face today. But here's the difference. He had a system for dealing with them, a philosophical framework that transformed these challenges from sources of suffering into opportunities for growth. This system wasn't something he invented. It was passed down to him through a chain of teachers stretching back 300 years to a Lebanese merchant who lost everything in a shipwreck. That merchant, Zeno of Citium, discovered something revolutionary in his loss: freedom. Not freedom from responsibility or difficulty, but freedom from the tyranny of external circumstances. Freedom from the exhausting, impossible task of trying to control the uncontrollable. Freedom to find peace, regardless of what chaos swirled around him. This discovery became the foundation of Stoicism, a philosophy so powerful that it spread throughout the ancient world like wildfire. It attracted everyone from slaves to senators, from soldiers to scholars. Why? Because unlike other philosophies that required years of study or special circumstances to practice, Stoicism was immediately practical. You could start using it the moment you understood its basic principles, and the results were immediate and undeniable, a sense of peace that external circumstances couldn't shake. But here's what makes Stoicism different from every other approach to peace of mind. It doesn't promise to change your circumstances. It doesn't claim you'll get rich, find love, or achieve success. Instead, it offers something far more valuable, the ability to be at peace regardless of your circumstances. It's not about positive thinking or manifesting your desires. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with reality itself. And that change, my friends, changes everything. The dichotomy that changes everything. Let me share with you the single most important concept you'll ever learn. If you forget everything else from this video but remember this one principle, your life will still be transformed. It's called the Dichotomy of Control, and it's so simple that a child can understand it, yet so profound that most adults never truly grasp it. Ready? Here it is. Some things are up to you, and some things are not up to you. That's it. 9 words that contain the secret to inner peace. Epictetus, who discovered this principle while literally enslaved, broke it down like this. The only things truly under your control are your judgments, decisions, desires, and actions. Everything else, your body, your property, your reputation, your past, your future, other people, external events, all of it is ultimately not under your control. You can influence these things, sure, but you can't control them. And here's the kicker. We spend 99% of our mental energy trying to control things that aren't actually under our control. Think about what stresses you out most. I guarantee it's something you don't actually control. Maybe it's what other people think of you. Not under your control. Maybe it's whether you'll get that promotion, not under your control. Maybe it's your health. You can influence it, but ultimately not under your control. Maybe it's the political situation, the economy, your aging parents, your children's choices. None of it is actually under your control. You're literally driving yourself crazy trying to do the impossible. But wait, you might say, surely some things are partially under our control. This is where most people get confused, so let me be crystal clear. There is no partial control. Either you have complete control over something, or you don't. You have complete control over whether you decide to exercise. That's your decision. But you don't have complete control over whether exercise makes you healthy. You could get hit by a bus on your way to the gym. You have complete control over whether you study for an exam. You don't have complete control over whether you pass. The questions might be on material that wasn't covered. You might get sick during the test. There might be a grading error. This isn't pessimism or fatalism, it's clarity. It's seeing reality exactly as it is, without the delusions that cause suffering. Because here's what happens when you truly understand the dichotomy of control. You stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable and redirect all that energy to what you can control. Instead of worrying about whether people like you, you focus on being likable. Instead of stressing about outcomes, you focus on efforts. Instead of trying to control the future, you focus on making good decisions in the present. I want you to try something right now. Think of your biggest source of stress. Got it? Now ask yourself, is this completely under my control? If the answer is yes, which is rare, then why are you stressed? Just control it. If the answer is no, which is almost always the case, then why are you trying to control something you can't control? It's like trying to control the weather with your thoughts. Not only is it impossible, it's insane. The Stoics had a phrase for this. Tauk efhemin. What is up to us? What is not up to us? They would start each day by reminding themselves of this distinction. Before making any decision, facing any challenge, or dealing with any person, they would ask, What part of this is up to me? That's where they would focus all their attention and energy. Everything else? They would accept it as it came, without resistance, without complaint, without the futile attempt to control it. This is why Stoics could face what we would consider catastrophic losses with equanimity. When Seneca was exiled, essentially a social and political death sentence in Roman society, he didn't waste energy raging against the injustice or trying to manipulate his way back. He focused on what he could control, how he spent his time in exile, what he wrote, how he developed his character. The result? Some of the most influential philosophical works ever written. When Epictetus's master broke his leg, yes, deliberately broke his leg as a slave, Epictetus didn't plead or rage or seek revenge. He supposedly said calmly, "I told you it would break if you kept twisting." He couldn't control his master's cruelty, but he could control his response to it. That response, calm acceptance of what he couldn't control, focus on what he could, became the foundation of teachings that would influence millions for centuries to come. The inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius, while leading military campaigns against barbarian invasions, dealing with a plague that killed millions, and managing betrayals from those closest to him, wrote something that should be carved in stone above every doorway. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He wasn't writing motivational quotes for Instagram. He was documenting a psychological technology that allowed him to maintain perfect peace while his world literally burned around him. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that no external force could breach. This isn't a metaphor, it's a practical reality you can build through specific practices. Just as a physical citadel has walls, gates, and defenses, your inner citadel has philosophical principles, mental disciplines, and cognitive techniques that protect your peace from external invasion. And just as a physical citadel requires constant maintenance and reinforcement, your inner citadel requires daily practice to remain strong. The foundation of your inner citadel is this: your judgment is the only thing that can truly harm you. Events themselves are neutral. It's your judgment about events that create suffering or peace. Rain isn't good or bad, it's just water falling from the sky. Your judgment that rain is ruining your plans is what creates frustration. Illness isn't good or bad, it's just a biological process. Your judgment that illness is terrible and unfair is what creates suffering beyond the physical discomfort. This isn't toxic positivity or pretending bad things are good. The Stoics were brutally realistic about life's difficulties. They didn't say losing a loved one wasn't painful or that injustice wasn't real. They said that beyond the natural, initial emotional response, we add layers of unnecessary suffering through our judgments. We tell ourselves stories that amplify pain. This shouldn't have happened. This ruins everything. I can't handle this. This is unbearable. These judgments, not the events themselves, are what destroy our peace. Let me give you a concrete example that will transform how you see this. Imagine you're giving a presentation and someone in the audience rolls their eyes. Now, what actually happened? Someone moved their facial muscles in a particular way. That's it. That's the entire event. But your mind immediately creates a story. They think I'm stupid. They're disrespecting me. Everyone probably agrees with them. I'm bombing this presentation. My career is over. In seconds, you've gone from someone moving their face muscles to career catastrophe, all through judgment. Now imagine responding differently. You see the eye roll and think, someone rolled their eyes. Maybe they disagree with my point. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they have something in their eye. Maybe they're thinking about something else entirely. Regardless, I'll continue presenting my best work. Same event, completely different experience. The eye roll didn't change, your judgment changed, and that changes everything. Building your inner citadel means developing this ability to separate events from judgments, to see clearly without the distortion of emotional reactivity. It means developing what the Stoics called apatheia. Not apathy in our modern sense, but freedom from destructive emotions. You still feel emotions. Stoics weren't robots, but emotions become information rather than commands. Fear tells you about danger, but doesn't control your actions. Anger tells you about perceived injustice, but doesn't dictate your response. Sadness tells you about loss, but doesn't define your capacity to continue. The inner citadel also protects you from the most insidious enemy, your own thoughts. Most of our suffering doesn't come from external events, but from our own mental rehearsals of disasters that never happen. We replay past mistakes that can't be changed. We imagine future catastrophes that will probably never occur. We create elaborate scenarios of rejection, failure, and humiliation, then suffer as if they were real. The inner citadel stops this self-torture by constantly returning you to present reality. What is actually happening right now? What can I actually do about it? Everything else is imagination. Premeditatio Malorum, the practice that destroys fear. Now I'm going to teach you something that sounds absolutely insane but is scientifically proven to reduce anxiety and increase resilience. It's called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Basically, you intentionally imagine losing everything you value: your money, your job, your health, your loved ones, even your life. Why would anyone do this? Isn't this just catastrophizing, which psychologists tell us to avoid? Here's the crucial difference. Catastrophizing is involuntary, uncontrolled, and unrealistic. Your mind spirals into worst-case scenarios that probably won't happen, and you imagine yourself being destroyed by them. Premeditatio Malorum is voluntary, controlled, and realistic. You deliberately contemplate real possibilities and imagine yourself handling them with wisdom and virtue. It's not about becoming morbid or pessimistic. It's about becoming prepared and fearless. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest men, took this practice to the extreme. He would regularly spend days living like a beggar, sleeping on the floor, eating only bread and water, wearing rags. Then he would ask himself, "Is this what I feared?" By voluntarily experiencing poverty, he removed its power to frighten him. He discovered that even his worst-case scenario was manageable. This wasn't masochism, it was psychological inoculation. But you don't need to go to such extremes. Start with mental rehearsal. Every morning, spend 5 minutes contemplating potential losses and how you would handle them. What if you lost your job today? You'd update your resume, contact your network, maybe take a lower-paying position temporarily, perhaps see it as an opportunity to change careers. Uncomfortable? Yes. Catastrophic? No. What if your relationship ended? You'd grieve, certainly, but then you'd focus on personal growth, reconnect with friends, possibly discover a freedom you'd forgotten. Painful? Absolutely. The end of the world? Not even close. The power of this practice is that it removes fear's greatest weapon: surprise. When you've already contemplated and accepted the worst that could happen, nothing can catch you completely off guard. You've mapped the territory of potential suffering and found it navigable. This doesn't mean you want bad things to happen or that you don't take precautions. It means fear no longer controls you because you know that whatever happens, you can handle it. Modern psychology has validated this ancient practice. Exposure therapy, one of the most effective treatments for anxiety, works on exactly the same principle. By voluntarily exposing yourself to what you fear, even in imagination, you desensitize yourself and build confidence in your ability to cope. The Stoics discovered this 2,000 years before modern psychology existed. They understood that fear of suffering causes more suffering than actual suffering. But here's the unexpected benefit of Premeditatio Malorum that nobody talks about. It doesn't just reduce fear, it massively increases gratitude. When you regularly contemplate losing what you have, you stop taking it for granted. Every morning you wake up healthy becomes a gift. Every day your loved ones are safe becomes a celebration. Every meal, every sunset, every ordinary moment becomes extraordinary because you know how fragile and temporary it all is. I practice this every morning, and it has completely transformed my relationship with fear. I imagine losing everything, my business failing, my health deteriorating, my relationships ending. But instead of spiraling into anxiety, I see myself responding with Stoic principles. I see myself maintaining dignity in loss, finding opportunity in setback, discovering strength in adversity, and then I open my eyes and realize I haven't lost anything. Everything I contemplated losing is still here. The relief and gratitude are overwhelming. This practice also reveals something profound. Most of what we fear losing isn't actually necessary for our well-being. Strip away the money, the status, the possessions, even health and life itself. What remains? Your character. Your principles, your ability to choose your response. These are the only things that can't be taken from you, which makes them the only things worth ultimately valuing. Everything else is on loan from fortune, to be enjoyed while present, but released without resistance when recalled. The view from above. Marcus Aurelius had a practice that would seem bizarre to most people today, but it's one of the most powerful techniques for maintaining perspective when life feels overwhelming. He would regularly imagine himself rising up above the earth, seeing first his city, then his country, then the continent, then the entire planet as a tiny speck in the vast cosmos. He called this the view from above. And it's a mental technique that can instantly transform your emotional state. Try this right now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself floating up from wherever you're sitting. Rise through the roof, above your building, above your city. Keep going higher. See your country, your continent, the curve of the earth. Keep rising until you see Earth as that famous pale blue dot, a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. From this cosmic perspective, how significant are your current problems? That deadline that's stressing you, that person who insulted you, that mistake you made last week. From cosmic perspective, these things that loom so large in our minds reveal themselves as the trivial, temporary perturbations they really are. But this isn't about making your life feel meaningless. It's about putting things in proper perspective. The Stoics coupled the view from above with another powerful concept, sympathia, the interconnection of all things. Yes, you're a tiny speck in the universe, but you're a conscious speck, capable of understanding your place in the cosmos. You're made of stars. Literally, the atoms in your body were forged in supernovas billions of years ago. You're the universe becoming aware of itself. This dual perspective, simultaneously insignificant and profound, is the key to Stoic tranquility. When you're stuck in traffic, furious about the delay, take the view from above. From space, you're one of millions of tiny metal boxes moving slowly along a thin strip of pavement on a rock, hurtling through space at 67,000 miles per hour. Suddenly, being 10 minutes late doesn't seem quite so catastrophic. When you're anxious about a presentation, zoom out. In the grand scheme of the cosmos, whether your PowerPoint impresses your colleagues is monumentally insignificant. This isn't nihilism, it's perspective. It frees you from the tyranny of treating every minor event as if it were life or death. The view from above also reveals the absurdity of many of our concerns. We worry about our reputation as if the entire universe cares what people think of us. We stress about money as if cosmic significance could be measured in dollars. We fight over trivial differences as if the universe takes sides in our petty disputes. From cosmic perspective, it's like watching ants fight over a crumb while missing the entire picnic spread nearby. We're so focused on our immediate concerns that we miss the bigger picture of existence itself. But here's where the Stoics go deeper than simple "don't sweat the small stuff" advice. They recognize that this cosmic perspective, paradoxically, makes human virtue more important, not less. If nothing matters in the grand scheme except how we conduct ourselves, then how we conduct ourselves matters absolutely. If external achievements are cosmically insignificant, then internal character development becomes the only meaningful pursuit. If we're all temporary arrangements of atoms destined to disperse, then how we arrange ourselves while we're here, with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, becomes the entire point. Seneca had another technique for maintaining perspective: temporal expansion. When facing a difficulty, he would ask, "Will this matter in 10 days, 10 months, 10 years?" Almost always the answer was no. That embarrassing mistake, that harsh criticism, that missed opportunity, time reveals them as ripples in a pond, temporary disturbances that soon smooth out and disappear. But virtue, character, how you handle difficulties, these create ripples that extend far beyond your lifetime. The discipline of desire. The Stoics taught that most human suffering comes from wanting things to be different than they are. We want sunny weather, but it rains. We want respect, but we're criticized. We want health, but we get sick. We want permanence, but everything changes. This constant conflict between our desires and reality creates a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. The Stoics had a radical solution: want what happens. This sounds like resignation or giving up, but it's actually the opposite. It's about aligning your will with reality rather than demanding reality align with your will. It's about becoming an active participant in your life rather than a victim of circumstances. It's about finding freedom through acceptance rather than control. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, but embracing it as if you had chosen it yourself. Imagine you're an actor in a play. You don't get to choose your role. You might be cast as the hero or the villain, the king or the beggar, the lead or a bit part. Getting angry about your role doesn't change it. It just makes you a bad actor. But fully embracing your role, playing it with excellence regardless of its size or nature, that's greatness. Life is the same. You didn't choose your genetics, your upbringing, your circumstances, but you can choose to play your given role with excellence. This doesn't mean you don't have preferences or that you don't work toward goals. The Stoics were incredibly active and ambitious, but they held their preferences lightly. They pursued their goals with what they called reserve clause, always adding mentally, "if fate permits" or "if nothing prevents me." They worked for outcomes but weren't attached to them. They played to win but were prepared to lose. This combination of maximum effort and minimum attachment is the secret to both effectiveness and peace. Think about how much energy you waste resisting reality. It's raining, and you spend mental energy wishing it weren't raining. You're in traffic, and you exhaust yourself fighting against the fact of traffic. Someone is annoying, and you burn emotional fuel wanting them to be different. All this resistance changes nothing except your state of mind. It's like swimming against a riptide. You exhaust yourself fighting a force that doesn't even notice your struggle. The discipline of desire doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It means choosing your battles wisely. Fight for what you can change, accept what you can't, and have the wisdom to know the difference. When you stop wasting energy on futile resistance, you have more energy for effective action. When you stop demanding the impossible, you can fully engage with the possible. When you accept the cards you're dealt, you can focus on playing them brilliantly. Here's a practical exercise. For 1 week, practice wanting what happens. Whatever occurs, tell yourself, "This is exactly what I wanted." Miss the bus. Perfect. I wanted to wait for the next one. Get criticism? Excellent. I wanted feedback. Feel sick? Great. I wanted to rest. This isn't self-deception. It's training your mind to stop reflexively resisting reality. You'll be amazed at how much peace comes from simply not fighting against what is. The discipline of action. Now we come to something crucial that many people misunderstand about Stoicism. Critics often accuse Stoics of being passive, of accepting injustice, of not caring about making the world better. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics were incredibly active, engaged, and committed to justice. But they acted from a place of wisdom rather than emotion, strategy rather than impulse, virtue rather than ego. The discipline of action means always acting for the common good, always choosing virtue, always doing what's right regardless of consequences. This isn't passive acceptance, it's active engagement with the world from a place of unshakable principles. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend his time in philosophical contemplation in a comfortable palace. He spent decades on military campaigns, defending the empire from invasion. He passed laws protecting slaves and gladiators. He sold imperial possessions to feed the poor during plague. He was constantly acting, constantly striving to improve conditions for his people. The key difference is that Stoics act from principle rather than passion. They do what's right because it's right, not because they expect a particular outcome. They understand that while they control their actions, they don't control the results. This frees them to act with complete commitment while maintaining complete detachment from outcomes. They're like archers who aim carefully, draw the bow with full strength, release perfectly, then accept wherever the arrow lands, knowing wind and other factors outside their control influence its flight. This principle transforms how you approach everything. At work, you do excellent work because excellence is virtuous, not because you expect promotion or praise. In relationships, you're kind because kindness is right, not because you expect reciprocation. In society, you fight injustice because justice matters, not because you expect to win. This isn't naive idealism, it's practical wisdom. When your actions come from internal principles rather than external rewards, you become unstoppable. No failure can discourage you. No success can corrupt you. No outcome can derail you. The Stoics taught that every action should pass through 3 filters. Is it good for me? Is it good for others? Is it good for the whole? Only actions that pass all 3 filters are worth taking. This isn't altruism at the expense of self-interest. It's understanding that our well-being is interconnected. What harms others ultimately harms us. What benefits the whole ultimately benefits us. We're not isolated individuals, but parts of a larger organism, and the health of the organism determines the health of its parts. But here's where Stoic action differs from typical do-gooderism. Stoics act without emotional attachment to results. They don't need to see the fruits of their labor. They don't require appreciation or recognition. They don't even need their actions to succeed in conventional terms. They do what's right because it's right, period. This frees them from the emotional roller coaster of activism, the burnout of constantly fighting losing battles, the corruption of success. They can maintain their efforts indefinitely because their motivation comes from internal virtue rather than external validation. The discipline of judgment. The third and perhaps most important discipline is the discipline of judgment. Seeing things as they really are, without the distortion of emotion, bias, or false belief. The Stoics understood that we don't see reality directly. We see our thoughts about reality. And most of our thoughts are contaminated by fear, desire, prejudice, and delusion. The discipline of judgment is about cleaning the lens through which we view the world. Epictetus put it brilliantly. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Death, for instance, isn't terrible. If it were, it would have seemed so to Socrates. But the judgment that death is terrible, that's what creates terror. Poverty isn't bad. If it were, everyone poor would be miserable. But the judgment that poverty is bad, that's what creates suffering. This isn't word games. It's recognizing that our experience of life is determined more by our judgments than by actual events. The Stoics developed specific techniques for clarifying judgment. One is objective description, describing events without emotional coloring or interpretation. Instead of, "My boss humiliated me in front of everyone," you say, "My boss spoke words in a meeting." Instead of, "Traffic is killing me," you say, "I'm sitting in a car that's moving slowly." This isn't denial or minimization, it's accuracy. It's seeing what actually happened versus the story your mind created about what happened. Another technique is decomposition, breaking impressive or disturbing things down to their basic components. That expensive wine you're coveting? Fermented grape juice. That celebrity you're starstruck by? A biological organism that excretes waste like everyone else. That insult that's eating at you? Vibrations in air caused by someone's vocal cords. This isn't cynicism, it's clarity. It's seeing things as they are rather than as your mind makes them appear. The discipline of judgment also means questioning your assumptions and beliefs. Most of what we believe, we inherited from our culture, our parents, our peer group. We never consciously chose these beliefs. They were installed in us like software. The Stoics constantly examined their beliefs, asking, "Is this true? Is this helpful? Is this necessary?" They understood that many of our strongest convictions are just unexamined assumptions, causing unnecessary suffering. For example, most of us believe we need others' approval to be happy. But is this true? Have you ever actually tested it? Have you tried being completely indifferent to others' opinions to see what happens? The Stoics did, and they discovered that the need for approval is just a belief, not a fact. You can be perfectly happy while others disapprove of you. In fact, you can only be free when others' opinions stop controlling you. The discipline of judgment ultimately leads to what the Stoics called catalepsis, clear comprehension, seeing things exactly as they are. Imagine walking through life without the fog of emotional distortion, without the burden of false beliefs, without the confusion of unexamined assumptions. Imagine seeing every situation clearly, understanding exactly what's happening and what response would be virtuous. This clarity is available to anyone willing to do the work of disciplining their judgment. The four virtues. At the heart of Stoicism are four cardinal virtues that serve as the foundation for all ethical behavior and the blueprint for a flourishing life. These aren't abstract ideals, but practical guides for daily decision-making. Every choice you face can be evaluated through these four lenses: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Master these, and you master the art of living. Wisdom, or prudence, is the ability to see clearly and act appropriately. It's not academic knowledge, but practical understanding, knowing what to do in real situations. Wisdom allows you to navigate complex moral territories, to see through deception and manipulation, to understand what truly matters versus what merely seems important. Without wisdom, the other virtues become dangerous. Courage without wisdom is recklessness. Justice without wisdom is fanaticism. Temperance without wisdom is mere abstinence. The Stoics developed wisdom through constant study, reflection, and most importantly, application. They didn't just read philosophy, they lived it. Every day presented opportunities to practice wisdom, choosing responses to provocations, deciding how to allocate time and resources, determining right from wrong in ambiguous situations. They understood that wisdom isn't something you have, but something you practice, not a destination, but a journey. Justice is treating others fairly, contributing to the common good, recognizing our fundamental interconnection. The Stoics believed humans are social animals, designed by nature to live in communities and help each other. To act unjustly isn't just wrong, it's unnatural, a violation of our essential nature. This isn't about following laws or social conventions, but about recognizing the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. Marcus Aurelius, despite having absolute power, was renowned for his justice. He spent hours hearing legal cases, carefully considering evidence, protecting the vulnerable from exploitation. He saw justice not as weakness, but as strength, not as giving people what they want, but what they deserve. He understood that injustice ultimately corrupts the perpetrator more than it harms the victim, that we damage our own character when we treat others unfairly. Courage is facing fear with determination, standing up for principles despite consequences, persevering through difficulty. But Stoic courage isn't just physical bravery, it's moral courage, the strength to do what's right when it's costly. It's speaking truth when lies would be easier. It's maintaining integrity when corruption would be profitable. It's choosing virtue when vice would be popular. The Stoics understood that courage isn't the absence of fear, but right action despite fear. They felt fear like everyone else. Fear of pain, death, rejection, failure. But they didn't let fear control their actions. They used reason to evaluate danger, virtue to guide response, and courage to bridge the gap between knowing what's right and doing it. Every act of courage strengthens the capacity for future courage, creating an upward spiral of character development. Temperance, or self-discipline, is the ability to resist destructive impulses and maintain balance. It's not about deprivation or asceticism, but about intelligent self-management. The Stoics enjoyed pleasures, but weren't enslaved by them. They experienced desires, but weren't controlled by them. They understood that excess in anything, even good things, becomes destructive. All this philosophy means nothing if it remains theoretical. The Stoics were obsessed with practice, with turning principles into habits, wisdom into action. They developed specific exercises, morning and evening routines, daily practices that transformed philosophy from intellectual entertainment into lived experience. Let me share with you the exact practices you can start today to begin your Stoic transformation. Start with morning reflection. Before checking your phone, before beginning your day, spend 5 minutes setting your intention. Marcus Aurelius began each day reminding himself of basic truths. Today, I will meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. But I will not be surprised or disturbed, for I cannot imagine a world without such people. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. When you expect difficulties, they don't catch you off guard. Throughout the day, practice the pause. Between stimulus and response, insert a moment of reflection. Someone insults you? Pause. Traffic frustrates you? Pause. Good news excites you? Pause. In that pause, ask yourself, what would virtue do here? What response would I be proud of later? What would the ideal version of myself do? This pause is where freedom lives, where you choose response rather than react from programming. Evening review is crucial. Seneca ended each day examining his actions. Where did I act with virtue? Where did I fall short? What did I learn? This isn't self-flagellation, but honest assessment. Be gentle but truthful. The goal isn't perfection, but progress. Every day you're either moving toward virtue or away from it. The evening review ensures you know which direction you're heading. Keep a philosophical journal. Write about challenges and how Stoic principles apply. Write about victories and failures in practicing virtue. Write quotes that inspire you and why they matter. This isn't emotional venting but philosophical training. Writing forces clarity, reveals patterns, strengthens resolve. Your journal becomes a personal trainer for your mind, pushing you toward wisdom through regular exercise. Practice voluntary hardship regularly. Take cold showers. Fast occasionally. Sleep on the floor sometimes. Walk instead of driving. This isn't masochism, but inoculation. You're proving to yourself that comfort isn't necessary for happiness, that you can handle discomfort, that your well-being doesn't depend on perfect conditions. Start small. Maybe just turn the shower cold for 30 seconds. but do something daily that reminds you of your resilience. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to understand something crucial. Everything I've shared with you today isn't just ancient philosophy or interesting ideas. This is a complete operating system for the human mind, tested over 2,000 years by millions of people facing every conceivable challenge. Wars, plagues, poverty, illness, loss, betrayal. Stoics have faced it all and maintained their peace, not because they were special, but because they had the tools. Now you have these tools too. The question isn't whether Stoicism works. History has proven it works. The question is whether you'll use it. Knowledge without application is worthless. Philosophy without practice is just intellectual masturbation. The Stoics were obsessed with practice because they knew that wisdom isn't what you know, but what you do. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you seriously apply these principles. You wake up without anxiety about the day ahead. Challenges arise because challenges always arise, but they don't disturb your peace. You respond with wisdom rather than react with emotion. You see obstacles as training equipment, setbacks as education, loss as a reminder to appreciate what remains. You move through your day with the calm confidence of someone who knows that nothing external can harm the internal. Your relationships transform because you stop trying to control others. You accept people as they are while maintaining boundaries. You give without needing reciprocation. You love without needing possession. Your connections become gifts rather than dependencies. You're present rather than distracted, engaged rather than anxious, supportive rather than demanding. Your work becomes a practice ground for virtue rather than a source of stress. You focus on excellence rather than recognition. You collaborate rather than compete. You see setbacks as redirects rather than failures. Success becomes about character development rather than career advancement. You work with purpose rather than anxiety, engagement rather than exhaustion. This transformation isn't instant or easy. It requires daily practice, constant vigilance, regular failure, and persistent return to principles. You'll forget everything I've taught you, probably by tomorrow. You'll react emotionally, try to control the uncontrollable, abandon virtue for convenience. That's okay, that's expected. That's human. The goal isn't perfection, but progress, not never falling, but always getting back up. But here's what I promise you. If you commit to this path, if you practice these principles daily, if you persist through the failures and setbacks, you will develop something priceless, unshakable inner peace. Not the peace of avoiding problems, but the peace of knowing you can handle anything. Not the peace of controlling circumstances, but the peace of controlling responses. Not the peace of getting what you want, but the peace of wanting what you get. The ancient Stoics faced challenges that make our modern problems look trivial, yet they maintained tranquility that we can barely imagine. They had no technology, no modern medicine, no social safety nets, yet they achieved what we with all our advantages cannot: genuine peace of mind. How? They understood something we've forgotten. Peace doesn't come from changing the world, but from changing how we see the world. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a crossroads. Down one path lies your current life. Comfortable perhaps, but marked by anxiety, frustration, and the endless pursuit of external validation. Down the other path lies the Stoic way. Challenging at first, requiring daily discipline, but leading to freedom that no external force can destroy. The choice is yours, and you'll make it not once, but every moment of every day. Before you click away, before you return to your regular life, I need you to take action. First, subscribe to the Stoic Mindset channel right now. We're building a community of modern Stoics, supporting each other in this ancient practice, sharing victories and challenges, growing together in wisdom. You don't have to walk this path alone. Join thousands of others who are discovering that peace isn't found, but created. Second, share this video with someone who needs it. Someone who's struggling with anxiety, anger or frustration, someone who's trying to control the uncontrollable, someone who would benefit from these teachings. Be the person who introduces them to the philosophy that could change their life. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give is a new perspective. Third, and most importantly, choose one practice from this video and commit to it for 30 days. Maybe it's the morning reflection, maybe it's the evening review, maybe it's the pause between stimulus and response. It doesn't matter which one. What matters is that you start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the journey to peace doesn't begin with thinking about walking, it begins with taking the first step. The Stoics discovered something remarkable, that true freedom comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling yourself. That happiness comes not from getting what you want, but from wanting what you get. That peace comes not from avoiding problems, but from responding to them with virtue. This wisdom has survived 2 millennia because it works. It worked for emperors and slaves, for ancient Romans, and will work for modern you. The art of living in peace isn't some distant achievement reserved for philosophers and sages. It's available right now, in this moment, with your next choice. Will you react or respond? Will you try to control the uncontrollable or focus on what's in your power? Will you pursue external goods or internal virtue? Will you remain a slave to circumstances or become master of yourself? The Stoic Mindset channel is here to support you on this journey. Every video is designed to deepen your understanding, strengthen your practice, and remind you of what matters. But ultimately, the work is yours to do. No one can walk this path for you. No one can give you peace. You have to create it yourself, choice by choice, moment by moment, day by day. Remember, you already have everything you need to live with unshakable peace. The capacity for wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance exists within you right now. It's always been there, waiting to be activated, waiting to transform your life. The Stoics didn't discover something new. They uncovered something eternal, something embedded in human nature itself. So make the choice. Embrace the Stoic path. Start your practice today. Transform your mind and you transform your life. Discover what Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and countless others have known. That the art of living in peace isn't about changing the world, it's about changing yourself. I'll see you in the next video on the Stoic Mindset channel. Until then, remember, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Stay strong, stay stoic. And most importantly, stay practicing.